Last time around we have been hit by an immediate and unjustified safety regulations update by the Peruvian government. The Rivetto didn't comply to the safety standards anymore, so we had to pull out of the Peruvian market and focus solely on the lure. We tried to shift all of our cars into the desert and hoped that the market responded accordingly, but unfortunately we only sold around 10 to 12 cars per month and couldn't really increase our production levels there. We also developed the Montone as our solution for the future, which would comply with the safety standards in Fuinia again. It was a quick project, it was very unrefined, but it's ready and it's selling. And it can also be sold in Fuinia. That's why we can now finally pick up our actions in Fuinia again. Selling only in Dalua wouldn't have been sustainable, and we would have been out of business very soon. So I'm very happy that we finally have the option again to sell in Fuinia. Still, we need to refine the Montone, and we also still have a V8 engine project lying around that we couldn't properly work on because we just don't have any money. So let's see how we can get this project going and if it will be able to fully replace the old inline 4 engine and how our car's performance will benefit from it. So let's head to Fuinia, let's head home into our shed and let's get this company restarted. Hello YouTube and welcome to my crib. I now have my very own shed in the game, both as a car design room and as a photo scene. Isn't this amazing? The devs noticed my Let's Play series and some of them liked it, so Andrew Flyer just slapped together a shed for me to use and fitting very well to the lore of Cisalpina. I mean, look at it, this really pushes building cars to a whole new level now that we're in the right environment. So we really now have a prototyping shed. We see here on the left some body panels, we see our Cisalpina red, we see also cans of the Lua yellow, and we see an unpainted, untextured quarter panel there. And yeah, it's just amazing. We can walk through the car design space here, the big empty space in the front. And in the corner we have a little bit of an office area, also with some elements reused from our previous episodes. For example, a nice sketch of the Rivetto, a nice photograph of Lorenzo and the very first car. And here on the working table we see of course a large logo and most importantly of course the letter from the Fuinian government that we are not allowed to sell our cars anymore. And a little artwork done by Lorenzo with a photograph of the Minister of Transport. Absolutely excellent work there by Andrew. I like this view from here, from this corner. The Cisalpina logo is not too large, I would say. It's just the way Lorenzo thinks about the company. It's the most important thing in the world and the logo cannot be large enough. So let's head over to the other side. Here in the side area we have the engine design room. I like also how open it is. You see always both car and engine. So here we have a little engine workbench, a few blocks in different colors, carburetor piece, air filter, exhaust pieces. Also some nice tubes, just the way how we have them on our exhaust. Yeah, and this is where the magic happens. As you can probably tell by all of the spills of random fluids on the floor. So this is where Lorenzo tries to squeeze every little bit out of the engine and tries to improve their performance from generation to generation. So that almost completes our round trip here through our shed. I hope you also like it. If you do, show Andrew your love. He will read all of the comments, I guess. So thank you very much. And I'd say let's get this going. Let's head into the corner and get some work done. Alright, here we are. And I must say I tried to play this and plan my next steps and I horribly failed in my first attempt. I haven't really worked out a plan how we want to tackle this, but I know that I need to be really delicate in my next steps to not drive the company into the drain. We have to be really careful where we spend our money and we also cannot do too much in the beginning. So what I wanted to do, for example, is slap the V8 into the Rivetto and just see if we can sell it in the Lua or something. But that project alone would cost me 5 or 6 million, and definitely I don't have that money. We really need to focus on the Montone to try to improve our margin there, because with 68 cars sold, we don't make a huge profit, and we need to get more green numbers. Still, we also have to pick up marketing. We have to see where we want to do R&D, and we need to somehow already decide when to do the successor of the Montone. The Montone is a rushed project. It will never be really good. Therefore, I just wasted a lot of potential during the first generation. So we just need to make this somewhat viable and then plan the next project with enough time to get to market so that we can really have a nicely polished project. One thing we learned in the Lua is that there is money, people want our cars, but they also have expectations with regards to comfort, prestige, and of course our core values being sporty, lightweight, and drivable. So let's do the paperwork first. The marketing. If we take a look at our sales, we see that we are selling again in Fuenia, even though we didn't do any marketing. And we are still selling a little bit in the Lua. So Fuenia had a very quick comeback, and we need to focus on it also in marketing. So far I'm spending nothing, and because of that we are losing awareness currently, and we need to make sure that this stops and we build up more awareness and widen our market so that we can sell more cars into high budget demographics. So sportiness of course is always good. We almost cancel the losses we have, and then I just pick whatever is cheap and gets us in light sports, in supercar, in sport. That's where we want to sell our cars. The weight is very cheap, until 3 at least. Agility is extremely cheap. Cornering also is kinda cheap. 23k. I can afford 2 clicks definitely in sportiness. And I think this is where I believe it. 35k as of now. And I have basically the same setup here in the Lua. It will cost less because the market is smaller, but I will just leave it the same. In Helvetia I don't see a market for us yet, so I won't do anything. Then R&D. So our project with our tire provider Spirelli was finished. We got the sports compound, and we also have radials now, which are not yet on the car. But the sports compound alone already helped so much in the performance of our cars. So now we need to mount the radials. But as we already have them unlocked, I don't think we need to invest anymore. And I'd rather invest in something else, which really gets us something in the long term. And then that would be engine architecture, the engine family. Oh, that's really expensive. Cannot do that. But maybe chassis? Yeah. Body maybe. So what did I spend before? Here 50k. I spent 50k. So I just do body. Let's check the bodies. So the next suitable body for a project for us is this one. The E-type kinda like body. And this is 1956. Question is, do we wait so long? Or do we want to get it in 1955? I'd say this time we have to wait a bit. The Montone is still new, but the body is already old. But this is definitely one thing that costs a lot if you want to have it quickly. Interior is expensive as well. Driver assist would be really cheap. Suspension would be cheap. Aero is cheap. Brakes are cheap. Maybe I keep one level in wheels, because that will make our wheels cheaper. So if we say we just go to 1956, and in 1956 we design the next car, then actually the differential would be nice, especially if we want to go for the V8. I think this is the necessary technology. The rest is too far away. Yeah, it's quite costly, but I think that would make sense. Let's try this. So we experiment with differentials for now. And what else do we need to know? The minimum safety requirement of 15 I was talking about last time was reduced to 12, and this will be until 1960, and then it's raised to 20. That means in 1960 we already need to have the new car on the market with 20 safety in Fuenia. The other requirement which is coming up for the new car is emissions requirements, and there also Fuenia is the hardest market. For safety it is Helvetia now. Fuenia is the second hardest market, but for emissions Fuenia is the hardest. So the new car will also have requirements there. But just to let you know in advance, we won't design the new car in this episode, but we will do a major update to the Montone and also refine that quite a bit, also visually. Alright, and I'd say let's get started with this now and let's update the Montone. So here's the Competizione model. Let's check first how many of those I really sell. Okay, it looks like it already counts the updated model. I thought I would just see the old one. Why is this one here already? Yeah, it looks like the Competizione model is still selling, or would still be selling. Interesting. So I cannot exit. First thing I want to see is if we make a new trim with the V8, how much it would really cost. And it would cost us in this unrefined state 10k. Maybe we can cut away 3k, 4k, I don't know how much in an update in the facelift. But I think it is clear that this engine is too expensive for our entry level, because it just eats away half of the budget. And then we add the car on top of that, and then we only have, I don't know, 10-20% of margin left, and we will not survive if we put this into our entry level car. So I'd say we probably should make a higher end trim and an entry level trim, or maybe two, and see if we can basically have an i4 and a V8 available for our customers so that we cover a wider range of the market. So the convertible market is definitely the smaller one. So we probably need as an entry level the Competizione, and we make the coupes as both the old 1100 engine and the 2-liter V8. And I also have a new idea how we want to brand our top level cars, and they will be called the Cinghiale, which is Italian for the wild boar, because this is a pretty wild car and the Rivetto was basically this little piggy. We call our top level cars the Cinghiale. I will not update the inline 4 engine. This is a cost-cutting measure and it's just not possible. So let's work on the engineering first and then focus on the visuals. So here on this tab everything can remain the same, and the more we remain the same, the more we can refine in the production process and increase our margin. So I actually don't want to change too much. But of course radial tires are too good to be true, so I will hold the old car just to see the difference. And just a pure boost in all regards, but it's more expensive. Really, I would love to make them wider. Yeah, it'll be a big difference. Those are some pretty beefy tires now. We need to fix the suspension afterwards. Braking can be improved a bit as well, because we just have more power available now. We can improve our reliability significantly by adding cooling airflow, but it will cost engineering time. I will not change it. We'll have some quality in there. Maybe I reduce it by 1 tick, make it cheaper. The radio setup is still fine. Driver assistance is fine. Just want to check, yeah, this is where we cannot sell it anymore, and I had +3 safety. I can reduce it now with the adjusted safety regulations. So let's at least take 1 click of quality away from the safety. Not necessary. And then nice suspension, and it's looking pretty bad. that's probably it. Quite aggressive on the toe. I cannot really get it to understeer in a different way. So, improvements. Yeah, with the suspension work it was not that good anymore. But we saved a bit on production units. Added material costs, these are the tires. Gained a few stats here. I think it still is a viable update. Last time I already said I wanted to move the whole grill assembly up a bit, and I will do that now. Right, I think this one sits a lot better there. Not a big difference maybe, but for me it is. Also, I was not really happy with how the bumper bar looked, so need to get a new bumper bar there. Maybe we can also switch our number plate to a different format. A little bit too low, I guess. The number plates are just huge on these small cars. I think that's the only way to go. Also, yeah, now that we are back in Fuinia, I can finally get rid of this paint. Ah, nice, red. The yellow was just terrible on all of the photographs and on the thumbnails. It was so hard to work with. So I'm looking forward to now work with red again. But I might edit it a little bit. And I also want to check if we can get new rims. Somehow these white wall tires don't work anymore with the new tire models. That's a bit of a shame. Let's use something with more spokes now that the tires have to work with more force because they're more grippy. We need more spokes. And another thing is obviously the rear bumper. Like this. And maybe also work on tail lights. I think this is what I want, just with the functions reversed. So the larger one taillight, smaller one indicator. I think much more viable. Yeah, but I just see that a random windscreen has appeared. Yep, let's go with this. And have the other ones similar. I will delete them, copy the competizione, so that we don't have to do all the fixture work again, and then work on the small differences that we need. So first off, our entry-level coupe. In the end we will need to decide if we want to X one trim or another. Somehow we lost the rear lights. Okay, and mirrors, and then we're done. Feels always a bit of a waste of time when you basically redo what you already had done. Yep, I think that's looking good. We're done. Maybe we can check our suspension. Oh, it's not good anymore for Light Sport Premium. Light Sport it is. And then the Cinghiale, the one I was looking forward to, so I delete it again. And our Cinghiale versions will be black. Alright, I guess we're done. And yeah, now let's slap the engine in it. Or I need not to choose an existing one, but replace the variant to actually make a facelift. I will try to make it as cheap as possible, reduce quality here. Just let's admire it here in our engine test bench. Nice. And yeah, what I want to change is the air filter. It's not a race engine anymore. And I guess we also have to go away from the high performance version to the mid, because it just gets us so much more oomph down there. Again here, reduce the quality to make it cheaper. Distance. Giving up. Now the conrods are giving up. It's a bit better with regards to reliability. Should be a good update. Still it has 110 horsepower. Fuel wise, I think it's good. 98 is good enough. Can sell a bit in Fuinia and in Dalua. So with regards to emissions, we still have no emission compliance. So, failed it all. Oh, yes. Carbon monoxide, 81%. Above the limit. Yeah, we will fix that for the next engine. Now let's tune this car. This will need some adjustments. And it will be proper quick. Can we make this a supercar? That would be the goal, because they have the money. Certainly needs bigger brakes because of all the brake fade. But I don't want to go to different technology. Don't have money. Looks like we cannot really get it into the supercar market. But I still try. It's properly hard. Properly hard. And I don't think there's much more I can do. So let's just check how it does compared to the others. Definitely not for 91k. Around 60 still would be plenty. So it says I'm not selling. But I also don't have the market available to me just now. So this will come at some point when we now do marketing. So the market is just emerging. I will still design it. I'll try at least. Maybe let's also check the performance numbers first. So we have 192 kilometers an hour, 7.7 seconds, 0 to 100. So really good. We can move on. We have 4 million in the bank. I also want to make it a bit more reliable. Maybe something like this would already be a lot better. 2 years. That would be around 400k per month. I don't need to update the old engine, and this one probably also needs a little bit of work. Maybe like this, 1.6 million for this engine. And we need a new factory, new contract. And we will get this from a local supplier, so from Manila. Right, Manifatura will do it. And it will cost us, yeah, I cut about 2k. A lot of engine labor is going in there. Now let's check our car production. Now with 3 cars in the production, we have quite a bit of inefficiency in our production, especially now that we also have a luxury interior here in the Cinghiale. And if I remove that, we are much better. So the Cinghiale needs to be produced in another factory, and maybe, so what I'm currently thinking about is just to prototype the Cinghiale, but not to produce it yet, because the market is not there yet. Therefore we can just go with our standard models. They will be quite efficient. We'll just put out so much higher numbers. We'll keep our stuff as it was. We really need to get our engine production up, but we just don't have the money. Margins are still pretty bad. But it looks like we can get more profit out of it by increasing prices a bit. And then, yeah, the loan coverage is a bit of a problem. We have a cost of 10 million, and I think I need to make it cheaper. I will reduce my effort on the engine a bit as well, because it's not produced anyway. But I will also have to save 2 or 3 million here on the car. And I guess I shaved quite a bit off of that 5 million, but the margins will be worse. Yeah, if I could produce more, I could make higher profits, but I cannot. Let's try it like this. And now I get 100%, or I could even get more. But the interest rate is bad. I definitely won't take all of that, and maybe I don't take any loan at all. Only 4.26 million, and that's exactly what I have in the bank. Yeah, I think this is viable. Not too shabby, still making a profit, although we have quite a bit of engineering cost and are repaying 170,000 for loan. I also want to check out my loan situation here. The initial loan is almost repaid for the 3rd generation Rivetto, but the major chunk is still coming from the Montone, and this will remain for quite a bit. Yeah, now that we make so much money, probably good idea to invest it. I'm not sure, we are currently reducing our pre-orders. We can spend a bit more on marketing. I think that's fair. Another click of sportiness is better. Oh yeah, increased my marketing quite a bit. Let's see what remains. We still have 13 Rivettos, which we will never sell. The other ones will be sold. Monte versions. And yeah, we also have to consider that these 6 cars are contributing about 100k per month, where we don't have to expend anything anymore. So we don't have that much money. But I can invest something in R&D. I think I go for the body to maybe start the new car a little bit earlier. But actually the limiting factor will be the diff. So let's do more for the diff. Things are still looking good. Credit score is still F, but this will change at some point. Get more money. Still don't pay any taxes, probably because company valuation is negative. So thank you, taxman. So the last cars don't sell. The last single car of the Monte just doesn't sell. And we also will never sell those Rivettos, so maybe let's just grab them. Goodbye. You did us great job. And then, yeah, that's what I was expecting. Now that the Rivetto is gone, we are back in the negative. And also now we will get more pre-orders for the new car. So we need to balance our expenses now. So nicely balanced. Credit score is improving and we need credit for the new car. Positive company valuation. Slowly also reducing our pre-orders. I think this will work out just fine until the new car comes around. It needs to be a bit quicker. 260 pre-orders. I think it is time to end Dolce Vita for now and go to 2 shifts maximum. Try to fulfill our pre-orders. This is money just lying on the street. And we're in 1955. The economy is going down. That's not optimal. But at least our new cars are already selling very well. Demographic sizes are slowly growing. We're up to 12 now in supercars. GT car would be nice, but the current body just didn't really fit. Really nice coverage there. We're doing pretty well right now. We have enough stock. Now it will be expensive, yeah, because we don't sell anymore. Yeah, it stopped production already. God damn it. Mistimed it. The auto factory management did a bad job there. I have enough Millimontis at least in stock. Yeah, but we will survive it. And there we go. Completed engineering. And also we see here on the list our diff coming closer, 5 months. So I hope that now sales are picking up again. Excellent. Really nice. A huge profit for Cisalpina levels, definitely. And now hopefully this car will survive until 1960, when we will have the new car released. And I will now just let it run until we get the limited slip diff. And then we will take the Cinghiale prototype for a spin. And I guess then we are done for this episode. We spent a lot of money this year, so we can earn a bit now. And next month already we will get the diff, so we have 1 more month to design the new car. But I guess the body will just, because I didn't do any research, yeah, we have to wait 1 more month to get the new body. There we are. Oh no, the tax man! Run! God damn it, made too much profits in the end. But at least we're back to B credit score, and we need the credit, as I said. Maybe we can do a engine factory. That would be awesome. Maybe we can build a bigger car factory. That would be awesome. Don't know how much money they will give us. Engine factory probably is still way too expensive, more than 30 million for that. But now, time for fun, time for the 2-liter Cinghiale. And here we are, revving the 2-liter V8 and starting off with a bunch of wheel spin. So even though we have radial tires now and 165s on the rear, still we are struggling with grip as expected. And through the first corners we already see that this car is quite a handful. It's almost impossible to control it in a small corner as long as the throttle is applied. So I'm basically babying this one around at half throttle all of the time, and only on the proper straights, where there are basically none on this track, I can really floor it. Again, this car still has no limited slip diff. This is something we need in the future for sure, and it becomes so evident here in this combination. So let's say Lorenzo drove the Montone Cinghiale prototype and then decided to do the investment into R&D, as we have seen earlier, as this is probably the key technology to really make this thing viable. Also, Lorenzo is thinking about how to improve the grip situation in the rear, because the engine is in the front, the driven wheels are in the back. He already had experimented with a twin engine car, one engine in the front and one in the rear, so it is time to think about putting the engine further back. Maybe this is something we can do for the next generation car. And through this corner we experience a proper bicycle moment. So the car is all over the place and we barely manage to keep it on its wheels. Driving the car feels properly fast because you're always struggling for grip, you're always on the edge. But when you take a look at the counter, it is clear that this car is actually slower than the 1100cc Montone. And it's another moment where Lorenzo doesn't understand the world. We have more power, it's slower. The Montone is heavier than the Rivetto and it's faster. What the hell is happening here? We will find a solution, but this is something for the next episode. Thank you all for watching, have a great time, and bye bye.